That is it. And at this time, I'd like to ask if there's any newcomers here, first timers. First timers.
You guys want to come up and collect your gift?
Anyone else? No. Thanks, Richard.
Anyone else? Very cool. Very good. All right, so did anybody want a Serenity Prayer Boulevard card for the revival as you're reading and going through your steps? This is a great thing to have with you. All right. Jump in. All right. Props. Okay, now I bring these up not to scare people. All right. What we're talking about tonight is doing the searching and fearless moral inventory, right? As it's written in our book, it is openly examine and confess our faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. Happy are the pure in heart, by Matthew 5:8. And then also the step is let we make a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. Lamentations 3:40. Before I get into it, we're going to go over a quick introduction of what I'm going to go through with you guys, so you have an idea prior to going into this lesson. Celebrate Recovery's inventory is divided into 5 sections. I'm going to be going into detail about each one of those sections. If you see on the table, there is 2 pages. There's one about sponsorship and accountability, and there's one for inventory. I suggest everyone grab one, grab a pen, because we're going to have some fun tonight. Okay? Woo! All right. We're going to go over how to use this CR inventory worksheet that comes with every CR step packet. So if you purchase those packets or you want to know more about that, please see me or Des afterward, and we'll go over details about that. I do have the next slide I want to put on the table is I want you guys to, after this is all over, I want you to have an expectation of what completing inventory is. And so I have a disclaimer on the screen here because for me this is really important. This is the thing that got me to a place of complete darkness, and if I didn't have a sponsor, accountability partner, I may not be here today. But an inventory is of oneself will surface a lot of hurts, habits, and habits that you didn't know that you may have been buried for years. So be advised to have an accountability partner or sponsor stand by as you work on your writing. This is a matter of your personal safety as well as your protection from relapse. And remember, be gentle with yourself, because I'm the type that beat myself up going through these books. And when I did that, I brought myself into a darker pit than I ever imagined. And I don't want that for anybody else. So if you're going to start your writing, have that one friend that you knows everything, right? That just is going to support you and affirm everything you're doing and just keep you uplifted. Because it saved my life, right? When I had my sponsor, God was be there for me as I was going through relapse after I wrote my first 4 step, which is this book here. It's filled from top to page to page, end to end, with all of the darkness that was my once past. And I don't want to go into that. I'm just giving you an example. This was 2017. All right. My next worksheet column will be the 2 directions. Nope, column 1. Let's get into column 1. Column 1 is where we list, as you see on your sheets, is where we list our first thing, the person, the situation, or the object in which I held a resentment towards, right? So what I would do, let's do all this with you guys. Right down on the spot, and right here. All right. So I want you guys to think about that one person, place, thing, situation that you were just like, that does not deserve forgiveness, first person I'm going to write, my ex-wife. I all advise you guys just write one at a time. So, and don't go super dark, just do a topical one, just to get started. And get your toes wet. But my ex-wife is the person that I would resent or had resented the most. Alright? I got that one in there. And then here's what's really cool is while I was doing this program for you guys and listing it, I went over what it is. You know, a resentment is a fear. So the definition of resentment is easily expressed as an unmet expectation, right? So say if I ask you to do something for me and you don't do it, I expected you to do it, now I resent you for it, right? But if I didn't ask you to do it and I didn't expect you to do it, you didn't do it, whatever, no big deal, right? It's how we look at our things. Also it goes into a fear that evolves into a resentment is called a premeditated expectation. Right? So when you're thinking about it, like, all right, I have this fear about wanting to do something and then I don't do it and I procrastinate and I do nothing instead. And I don't go skydiving with what I plan to do, or I don't go to that party because I was too scared of what people would think of me. Now I have a resentment to the people that went to the party and had a great time. Now I have a resentment because I missed the plane that was going to drop me 30,000 feet from the sky and I've done a great time, right? So I'm thinking, but I have a resentment towards another because I had that expectation. And that's one thing that I had to let go for years, and for me, I had to let go. Remember, I think, yeah, the good news is that if you work, and as you work with the steps, you'll notice your resentments, your fears, angers, they start to fade, like as light Jesus shines upon them. So every time you put something down and you write it, God now sees it. Now it's not just in our head, and we're not just talking about somebody else, but now we put it down on something tangible, which is really hard to do. And I suggest if you're writing an inventory, don't leave it out. Don't let your partner find it. Don't let your boyfriend find it. Don't let your girlfriend find it. Because this is your way of healing. Maybe when you're done, burn it. Great idea. I've done that with a couple books. Because some of that stuff in there, you just don't want other people to read. But the best part is, all that stuff starts to fade away. We go into Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31. It talks about get rid of all bitterness, all rage, brawling, anger, along with any form of malice, right? So this is kind of what we're doing here. We're acknowledging that resentment towards that person, place, thing, or situation, and we're trying to actively get rid of it, right? So it goes into my next column 2. Right. All right. The specific action that takes place following picking out that one thing that resentment is the cause, right? The cause is what it was that caused you to have a hurt or a resentment or started your anger. What was that catalyst? All right. So for me, my cause, I had written down. Let me get to it. Last page here. Okay, so my cause of why I resented my ex-wife is because she lied in court. Right, just very basic. She lied in court. So, lied in court. Alright, and then what I started to notice that an example of what a cause would be, just so you guys have an idea, would be like an absent alcoholic father, a hypocritical, controlling parent, a bully, traumatizing their existence, a meaningless death of a loved one, a narcissistic ex-partner, a sexually abusive family member, etc. All those things are the cause. The cause would be the absent alcoholic father. The hypocritical is the cause. The bullying is the cause. The meaningless death is the cause. The narcissism is the cause. Right? It's not the people behind it. Right? And that was hard for me to understand. It wasn't like, yeah, this person did this thing to me, but it wasn't to me, because we say it all the time, hurt people. So what I learned is taking a reflective look back into the time can be very painful, but hence we have the importance of this concept, of of the accountability part. That's why we have the extra sheets on these pages, because we want you to have the answers to go to when something comes up with that cause. Like, live in court, man, I had so many years where I just could not accept the fact that this woman who said they would never do that, did it. And I was like, wait, how am I supposed to believe a man now? For all lying. No, that was my sickness. That was the devil in my head trying to twist the thought of life. And I just couldn't stand by it. So, God reminds us in Jeremiah 41:10, and I love this one, it's kind of my memory. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed. For I am your God, and I will strengthen you and help you, and I will uphold you. Meaning, like, He's got you under His arm. He's not going to let you fall. And He upholds you with His righteous right hand. Right? And to me, that was always something I just like, how's this guy, this thing, this entity going to, pick me up out of this darkness? And I didn't realize it until more and more I started writing, right? 2018, I started taking my atheist mindset and started to believe in something different. I saw all these guys and women having these amazing spiritual experiences, and I was jealous. I was like, oh, I think what you guys spiritual awakening? Come on, God, like something. And it wasn't there. And so I was just like, all right. I kept writing. It just didn't stop. It just kept putting letters on pages, and it became something. It started to open my eyes. It started to show me who I